Mbukeli sanibonani emakhaya kuzo zonke izindawo lapho ke nibheke khona uhlelo enilithanda kakhulu Yilungelo Lakho. It's your right. We're coming to you live here on SABC 1 eMzansi for sure. Lona ke uAlisha Unhlanhla wakajali. Mbukeli, today we are talking about a very important topic. Siyaze babukela ukuthi phela isimo esemaphaketheni senze abashayeli abaningi ukuthi phela bangabe basacabanga nakaningi ukuthi phela bakhona ukuthi bayolungisa imoto zabo njengoba nje isimo somnotho sibheke phansi. Ingakho nje iningi lwenu seniyahamba niyele lapha kumakhenika ongenalo ibhizinisi elirejistiwe osebenza phansi kwesihlahla. Kodwa ke let's find out ukuthi what are the risks zokuthi wena ulungisa imoto yakho phansi komuthi where you do not have the Consumer Protection Act. Mbukela ukhuluma kabanzi ke nathi phela ngesinqumo sokuthi kumele uyikhandise kuphi imoto yakho lapho phela kuphephile khona futhi la kuhambelana khona phela nephakethe lakho. Asamukele uSisa Mbangxa, yena ke umele iAfrican Panel Beaters and Motor Mechanics Association. Samukele nentokazi uChaya Finger obuya kwaKhashik. Lady and gentlemen, let's start with the lady. Chaya, thank you so much for joining us. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to have a lady when you're doing a car show. You know what? Absolutely amazing. But Sisa, inkosi bhuti molo.
Molo ndiyabulisa ndibulise kuwe Matshali.
Woman.
Ku SABC 1 nakubaphulaphuli bonke.
Oh, siyakwamukela nsizwa. But Sisa, ka usichazele kancinci uba nenza ntoni pha eAfrican Panel Beaters and Motor Mechanics Association?
African Panel Beaters and Motor Mechanics Association is a non-profit organization that represents the previously and presently artisans in the automotive repair industry.
Okay.
We bega nje straight representa kakhulu mechanic abazimeleyo kwindawo zasemalokishini nakwindawo zasemakhaya.
Oh, laba sikhuluma ngaba balungisa imoto phansi komthunzi welanga.
Not necessarily phansi komthunzi, but we want to uplift them.
Oh, okay. Formalize the sector.
Formalize them so that they can also benefit in the mainstream economy of automotive industry.
All right. And then, Ms. Chaya, please tell us a bit about Car Clinic. What do you guys do at Khashik?
Khashik.
Yes.
So I offer all motor advice, but my main focus is rent to buy.
Okay.
So I focus on people who can't get finance from the bank, but they need transport.
Okay.
So I look at them and they lease cars from us.
Okay.
So that, but anything motor related, I offer guidance. So people can come to me with any question, and if I don't know the answer, I probably know someone in the industry who does, and I will guide them that way. So it's a holistic way of looking at the motor industry, a feminine touch.
Absolutely. I'm sure you get a lot of customers there. Hey, let's start with you. I mean, maybe talking about the informal sector when it comes to what we're seeing with motor repairs. We've seen unscrupulous dealers as well as mechanics as well. How do you then advise somebody who's coming to you looking for a safe place to repair their car or just basically get it serviced from a reputable dealer that is not necessarily a formalized dealer?
So we talk about, so the agents are what you consider your formal dealerships.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of mechanics, and Sissy and I agree on this. The clients need to make informed decisions, okay? So you can use your friend who happens to be a mechanic, but do your homework. What is your, there's other people that may have used him. Get more, I always tell people, don't go with the first quote you get if you feel uncomfortable with it. You'll get we call it a shopping list of what needs to be done on your car. It's not necessarily, if you feel uncomfortable and it doesn't sound right, get a second opinion. It's free to go to another mechanic and get an opinion. I think it's very important that it's the consumer makes an informed decision. You don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
So try and get as much information. And there's websites out there. There's something like this where they will give you the information. Ask questions. If you don't ask, you'll never know. And people go in blindly and they get taken advantage of. We've seen it.
Especially women. Chaya, I wanted to speak to this sector because a lot of women will literally just get into a car, drive it until it stops
100%.
Because they don't even know what a gauge is, or when the petrol gauge is down, they don't know when they're supposed to pour petrol. And then you get these older model cars that the gauge won't even work, or none of these electronics are working. So, I mean, how big is the influx of women that come to you specifically looking for such advice around their cars?
So I see it even not just coming to me. I've seen it at the husbands say to me, well, I'm looking to sell my car, but my wife never serviced, she missed her service. It's her fault now. She's missed her service, and we've lost our service plan because we never serviced it, but she forgot.
That's reminding me when I had some guy called me and say, hey, how much can you charge me to replace the clutch kit for my wife's car? My wife has burnt the clutch.
Oh my goodness, she probably drove the car for the past 5 years and burnt the clutch somewhere along the way.
So I like to offer information like you have to service your car once a year, regardless of the mileage. If it's parked in your garage, you still have to service your car.
Absolutely.
So people don't know that. So a woman happy driving her car, she doesn't know.
As long as it moves.
As long as it's moving, all happy. So stuff like information like that is, you need to ask the questions. What I've noticed as well is everyone gets so excited about buying a car, or even if it's a pass me down car from someone, but they don't really know the after sales care of the car. They need to know and ask. There's no stupid question in this industry. I ask questions every day of my life in this industry. I learn every day.
And that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Sisa, look, okay, all right, we're going to take a quick ad break. Mbugeli, please do call us after the breakings of 011-714-0671 as well as 011-714-0672. Alternatively, consumer@sabc.co.za. That is our email address. And of course, ungasithola lapha on Facebook as well as on Twitter. We are talking car repairs. Uma wena umuntu wesimame ungazi ukuthi imoto after ingene igiya lokuya ngaphambili ureversa kanjani. Stay with us. We're coming back shortly after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Yilungelo Lakho. Thank you so much for joining us. Mangabe wena uqeda ufika ekhaya namhlanje Mbukeli sikhuluma ngokuthi what are the best options ukuthi wena ulungise imoto yakho ngendlela phela ezofanela iphakethe lakho nezidingo zakho. My guest today uPotsista Mbangxa, yena is the president of the African Panel Beaters as well as Motor Mechanics Association, alongside the beautiful Ms. Chaya Finger, who is the CEO of Car Chic. All right, Mbukeli, those numbers, the studio lines are now open. Ungasithinta la studio 011-714-0671, alternatively 714-0672. Ungasithumela email ku consumer@sabc.co.za. Alternatively, find us on our social media platforms. So, Potsisa, I want to know from you. Mesikhuluma ngokuthi umuntu kumele anakekele iphakethe lakhe, but at the same time nyanzele kuba alungise imoto. How would you advise them? What is the best way to go? Should they go to ubaba unzima oservice imoto zabantu phansi kwesihlahla eThembisa, or should they go to somebody who has a working area, has a working address, umuntu oregistiwe, also umuntu that you can track whenever you have complaints about e-service and service related issues?
Ngicebisa kakhulu umuntu akhangele abantu abaregistered, abaregistiwe, abanama company registiwe, and xa befika khona apho benze okanye baqinisekise ukuba ngaba leyo workshop leyo in short na.
Okay.
Ngoba kunobungozi noxa nje ke nathi sibamele abantu basendaweni zangasemakhaya abakule mkhakha wokulungisa imoto. Hence ndiye ndathi sizama ukuthi sithathe aba ukuthi aba informal siba formalize. Ngoba xa kungenzeka kube khona nantoni enzeke emotweni yakho ikumphansi kwesihlahla engcobo reSoweto kuphi izaba ingxaki yakho andizokwazi uyibhadala. So ke kunendlela kunendawo esezininzi sizivuyelayo norhulumente wethu esethe wazenza kuneendawo kuthiwa zii-hubs ngokuna ezikhoyo ezilokishini ngoba abantu bebeyenza loo nto leyo kuqala bahamba besiya kwaba bantu kuthiwa baphantsi kwesihlahla ngoba bengena-alternative ngoku nasekune-alternative from the dealerships kukhona abantu abane-formal workshops within endaweni zasemakhaya nasekuhlaleni kunobungozi ngoba nenye into ebalulekile kuba kaloku funeka uqiniseke abantu aba bangakho formal abanama-equipment aright loo nto leyo ke umbukeli okanye i-consumer yona ngeke iyazi ukuba what kind of tools okanye onazo e-workshop kodwa ke into ebalulekileyo funeka afumanise Sisa urejistile unayo ne-insurance xa kungavela umlilo xa ngaba umekhenikhi wakho kungenzeka athi utest drive imoto yam okanye uyayikhupha itshayiswe so zizinto ezo endicinga uba fanele uba kubaluleke kakhulu uba baziqaphele and nabo bayenze iGoogle njengoba besekeshile ulokhuza uRhaya ukuba umuntu makagooglishe ungafumanisa ngathi into engekho possible i-workshop esinayo thina sikuye eKatlehong sabona abantu befika ngenye imini nabo bengakholeli uba kukhona i-workshop eseKatlehong xa befika bathi hey sithe xa singena kuGoogle safumanisa uba kunale workshop xa befika zange babelieve uba phakathi elokishini kukhona i-workshop enjalo so ke ngoba siyayazi simo sihamba phantsi kwexesha elinzima yonke into iyadura yonke into i-expensive ukuba babaleke phaa edolophini bazafika sikhona sibalindile ngapha endaweni zasemakhaya
and anibalindile ngokukhwabanisa apho like
asibalindile ngokukhwabanisa ama-workshop wethu aregistered abhatala i-tax and le nto uyibuzayo ibaluleke kakhulu ngoba kodwa sisenza kanjalo sizifumana siphantsi kwenye le nto ingcindezi okanye ipressure ngoba asikhuselekanga kakhulu kurhulumente ngohlobo lokuba lokukhompyutha ngoba sikhompyutha nabantu abamo-formal ama-dealerships thina sibuye sizongena apha elokishini sizama ukunceda abantu iipokothi zingekho nzulu xa ufika ngoku nangapha kukhona ubabizayo baphantsi kwesihlahla and kakhulu imost yabo futhi ngabantu abangakho ngaba nalapho abazibuyela kumazwe angapha eneighboring states sina-problem ke naloo nto leyo kodwa ingxaki yokuba ke ngokuna thina silapha kunjalo kufuneke sibhatale i-tax funeke sibhatale abasebenzi according to the bargaining council. We know this, the Locomotive Industry Bargaining Council.
Of course, abide by the rules and the regulations, I suppose.
Yes. The motor industry, yes. We are going to IMIBCO Motor Industry Bargaining Council. Kuna tax omele uyibhatale, kuna insurance omele uyibhatale, as well as i-rent omele uyibhatale. So ufumana siba ke ngokuna sinalo challenge ke kuna that's why ixesha elininzi siye sizama indlela zokuthi sisebenzisane nabo masipala ukuthi bakwazi uku-implement i-bylaws uba sikwazi uba sibe nokhuseleko kodwa besingekahambeli indawo naloo nto leyo.
All right, now we'll get into that just now. I just want to hear from Chaya. Chaya, you know, as somebody who's been driving for many, many years and who took the time to listen to my dad when he was teaching me about cars, you know, I know for a fact that, you know, dealerships will often charge you exorbitant amounts for parts that you can actually just go and outsource somewhere and have your mechanic basically fitted into your car. For things like services, you know, your brakes, your filters, your oil lamps and so forth. What do you then suggest somebody comes or does in this instance where they're actually looking for a better deal? They want to service that car, but they can't necessarily take it to a reputable dealership for that service.
So,
or even if it's out of motor plan, where then they have to pay out of their own pocket.
So there's various situations you can find yourself in. So you can buy a car that currently has a service plan. Say I buy the car from you and its service plan is still intact.
Yes.
So you ask the right question, how long left of the service plan? Okay, so I'm going to take it to the agents because it's still intact and I'm not going to pay for the service. I take it to the agents, they service the car. They phone me and say, Chaya, you need to do the brakes, and it's going to cost you X amount. Now, brakes are safety critical items.
Absolutely.
So I don't think you should be. It doesn't mean that if you don't take, if the agent doesn't do it, then it's not good. So it doesn't have to be the agent, but so I'll say, okay, do the service, and then I will go do my homework and find a reputable, independent to do the maintenance for me.
Okay.
So there's service and there's maintenance.
Yes.
Now maintenance is your wear and tear items. So I can buy a car with a service plan and still not be covered. I'm not going to be covered for the wear and tear items. So you can service it at the agents, carry on servicing it, and then do the maintenance at an independent.
Okay.
Okay. So you can do that, and I believe you'll save on cost. I do believe it. I stand to be corrected, but I do think you will save on cost.
Just to ukongeza kule ayithethayo ababukeli kubalekile bayazi ba zintoni as under warranty emotweni.
Well, maybe just take us through the checklist.
Yeah, it's just an engine and a gearbox that is under warranty.
Okay.
But phaya ngaphambili ufumanisa uba noba ungahamba uyotshintsha i-brake pads or i-shocks kwenye indawo xa ubuyela back uthi yoservice imoto yakho uzawuxelela into yoba ngabana ivoidiwe iwarranty yakho ngoba wena uhambile woservisa wayotshintsha ama-brake pads or imoto yakho was involved in an accident, then wahamba othenga ifender in an independent lokhuzana space body but wayengazange uyithenge lapho imoto ibuya khona, so iwarranty yakho iphelile. So ibalekile babazi ke abathengi from 2021 after kwaku-adoptwe i-guidelines which loosely said i-right to repair, uvumelekile ngoku ukuba ngabana ungahamba uyo repair imoto yakho ku-workshop of your choice. Yes, ile nto kuthiwa i-right to choose. Besisilwe i-right to repair.
But it's not all insurers that are currently offering that. I know it's some of them.
Iseseyingxaki ye-compliance. Bona baberhalela uba sicomply thina kodwa bona bafuna ucomply. So yenye into ke ndiye ndafumana nefoni xa ndizapho kwathiwa ungalwi ke namhlanje. So andizivula but ke and still but ukuthi sihlala sesilwa sisalisha. Kungawubana sihlala ukufundisa abantu bazi ngezinto. Ngoba kukhona izinto unnecessary expensive. Njengoba ububuza uHaya ukuthi i-brake pads, it's the same brake pads as bazithenga phaa kwi-dealership. It's the same brake pads bazifumana kwi-aftermarket spares. Ngoba ayikho indawo apho kweli hlabathi lonke jikelele ekuthiwa kwenziwa le company engumoto X ine factory yokwenza i-parts. Aba-aftermarket spares nabo laba bama-dealerships bathenga endaweni eyi-one.
Absolutely,
eChina. It's a matter of packaging. Le nto lena ithiwani white labeling. Yeah, white labeling. So zezo zinto lezo ezibalulekileyo kodwa ke ngokungazi kufaneleke bagugule bazasifumana ngoku. Bekulula before okanye kwaba abantu bacindezela abanye benza ukuba abantu bahlale bespend imali engekhoyo ngoba besingafumaniki besingekho available kwi-internet. Ngoku sikhona kwi-internet for ukuthi si-advise and asithethi ngokuba sizama ukulwa okanye sizama ukugxeka ubani. Thina kwi-association yethu encourage inclusivity and transformation. Zikhona izinto nathi siyaziyo xa ufike e-workshop yamenza kuxelela yona but no le suyithenga kwi-aftermarket le uzayithola kwi-dealership kuba inzima le industry kakhulu ngoba and into ebangela uba ibe nzima is because kune two, it's a country of two automotives.
Yeah.
Sifihlelana information.
Yes,
now,
because sifuna ukwenza imali. Please hold that thought, Sisa. I need to take an ad break. Mbukeli, our lines are wide open. Do send us those emails, consumer@sabc.co.za. Alternatively, find us on Facebook as well as on Twitter. We are talking the alternatives to finding a suitable and reputable dealership or mechanic or somebody, serviceman, to ukuthi bakulungisele imoto yakho. We're coming back shortly after this. Welcome back. 011-714-0671. Alternatively, 714-0672. Those are the magic numbers ongasithola ngazo la studio, as well as consumer@sabc.co.za. Ungasithinta futhi on our WhatsApp number 0608449857. Alternatively, usithole lapha on Facebook as well as on Twitter. We're still discussing your car repairs. What is the best option for you? Because we know ukuthi izinto ziyabiza uyaphi wena. Kubaba uNdlovu phansi kwesihlahla or lo ngamazi ukuthi uzomtracka kanjani masufuna amaphathi wakho uyambona udriver nemoto yakho useteksini. Zonke nje lezo zinto. We're trying to get to the bottom of that. My guest today, Sisa Mbangxa, yena is the president of the African Panel Beaters and Mechanics Association, alongside Ms. Chaya, who's the CEO of Carshik. Let's try the lines. Ditabo in Mafikeng. Are you still on the line, Bab?
Hey, Sisi.
Hey, kunjani Bab?
Man, I corner.
One good
One good. I hear nothing.
Okay, go ahead. Ngicela usitshela istory sakho baba noma usibuza umbuzo wakho because siyakuzwa thina.
Ayikhona.
Babu Dithabo. All right, okay, we seem to be struggling with Ubabu Dithabo. Uyathetha lapho uthi akangizwa. We are trying to get those lines sorted, Mbugeli. So, Sisa, uhlekani mengithi a lot of people bathi they've taken imoto zabo to Ubabu Ndlovu lapha phansi kwesihlahla somuthi. Uthi nangu umuntu ngiseteksini, nangu Ubabu Ndlovu uhamba ngemoto yami. Mina ngisenamoto. Like the family is all in his car, but I'm sitting in the taxi and I'm pointing at my car. I mean, such issues do happen. How do you then deal with them as the association?
Ngoba na zisuke zifaniswe nathi thina abantu bapha.
Sizobafanisa nobani?
Yeah, I mean yonke I don't know, ngathi sector kuba khona those people kunabantu aba behavior naba misbehavior. But that is why besisithi kufanele abantu bajonge workshops and kufanele bajonge futhi ukuthi ba associated kuphi, ba accounta kuphi. Because xa bengaba members eAPMA xa ungene workshop obviously uzajonga ngoba siya accredita ne workshops. But this person is a APMA member, then it will be easy for you as well to complain ngoba asingeke sihlale sitsho sithi abantu abazuganga.
Okay.
Ngoba umuntu ibehavior yakhe indlela akhuliswe ngayo indlela enza ngayo izinto but asizipromote lihlala ndisitsho ndisilwa nakuma members wethu ngenye imini ake ndaya eEast London ndaqa ngene workshop ndafika kuphuma imoto yegovernment kule workshop ndathetha ne-owner ndathi no le behavior i-wrong awunawuqhuba imoto ze-government or in any customer car imoto ye-customer xa ise-workshop mayibese workshop.
Yes.
Xa iphuma nakhona mabe test driving kodwa not always ya test drive imoto. So ngizama ukuthi siya discourage i-behavior ezinjalo zenza futhi uba zisingcolisele ebantwini bangasithembi bahambe sizibulala ngokwethu kahle thina abantu especially abamnyama abakwendawo zaselokishini ne-issue ye-cleanliness ungena emotweni yomuntu ugcwele oil overall zakho zimdaka uhlala phezulu kwesithi yomuntu lo muntu uyafika uyoshumayela ecaweni unxibe isuit yakhe emhlophe xa ephuma une-grease une-oil so zizinto ezinjalo then ebalulekileyo kuba ngabana abantu bakhethe bajonge i-affiliation ukuthi umuntu ureporta phi into esiyifundile kwaba bangaphambili nakuthi ubana kubalekile kuba umuntu nokuba ukwephi industry kodwa xa ekhona into ayenzayo makabe affiliated somewhere kukhona apho kune-code of conduct umgaqo wokuqhuba le business awufundiswe xa uzaziyela ke uziyela ngerisk yakho kulaa mntu ungabuyi ukhalazele thina.
So it is a risk when they go to those unregistered and informal businesses because this is what I wanted to find out about. If you find yourself you've gone to this person, they're not registered, they're not adhering to any of the CPA laws, nama standards, the motor industry. So that means the risk and onus is fully kuwena as the owner.
As the owner.
Okay, yeah, so you can't go cry anywhere. I can't even phone Sisa, ndithi Sisa, nanku umuntu usetshintshe i-engine yami wafaka enjani.
Uzimele wedwa ngenqa elangeni. Uzimele wedwa ngenqa elangeni. Yes, bakhona abantu ngobana ixesha khona umuntu ufumanisa uba akabikho registered.
Yes.
Kodwa yamazi nawo bawuphelele ngumsebenzi ebesebenza ecompany nethile. Uyambona nebehavior yakhe. That's why sithi iphuma kuwe i-choice yakho ngeke sikwalele kodwa so ungabuyi ukhale because noba ungathi uya kwi-ombudsman ayizokwazi ukumela izabuza ukuthi bubone ntoni.
You know, Chaya, I mean, let's talk about this. Do people ever come to you and say, look, my car is out of warranty or service plan. How do I find then a good aftermarket mechanic and which one is a reputable one? Do they ever use those specific words where it's reputable and not just somebody that you're going to recommend because it's a friend of yours who used to work for this dealership and apparently knows how to service a certain kind of vehicle?
So they never use the word reputable. I often get asked, you know, there's this misconception that if you don't go to the agents, then you're in trouble. It's not true. There are great mechanics out there that don't work for the agents. You know, as great as the agents are, which they are, there's merit in the small business mechanics.
Absolutely.
There is, and they're not used enough, I believe. I would rather someone, use a mechanic to change their brake pads than not change their brake pads at all. So I think that would be my advice. Like, yes, and build a relationship. So I believe that there are mechanics out there who understand. They understand where people are at, and they will say to you, like, I know a mechanic who said to me, to a client, your brake pads are on this percent. Well, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Even me, I'm in the motor industry.
Exactly. So how long do I have to drive?
Tell me how long I have so I can save enough so I can be safe in my car.
Absolutely.
So stuff like that, that's the sort of advice I want people to understand. You can ask those questions. Yes, I need brake pads. How long do I have left? Because I need to save. And if someone said to me, Chaya, you're putting your family's life at danger by driving that car with those brake pads. I'm telling you now, I'm going to make sure I change my brake pads. Tires as well are often overlooked. Guys, smooth tires are dangerous. They are dangerous. You can have a car accident, and I don't care if you have the best insurance are going to repudiate you.
Yes.
You know, Sisa and I talked about that. You can be covered in every way, this way, that way, but if you haven't looked after your car, then you haven't looked after your car. You know, you want to cut corners and you want to cut costs. I understand that, but there's this beautiful saying, penny wise and pound foolish. You're cutting corners now. It's going to cost you way more later. And also, a car is something you take care of. You know, you take care of yourself. You get sick, you go to the doctor. You know, you're going to go to the right doctor, because if you go to the wrong doctor and he gives you the wrong medicine, honey, you're not getting better. It's the same with your car.
If I may also come in, lab,
Yes.
now I'll advise motorists or consumers to buy extended service plans as well.
It's very expensive, but Sisa. Listen, I know, Guti, when it comes to that, at the end of your service plan, I inquired. They gave me this huge amount that I had to come up with in a couple of, well, I think I still had about 6 months because I inquired on time.
Yeah.
But somebody is going to inquire literally a month before because they want that money in lump sum. So you can't pay it in installments. So then what do you do in that instance where you cannot then just buy a new service plan, but you can only live from pocket to fixing your car? So it's pocket to mechanic.
There are monthly service plans.
Okay. All right.
Which are quite reasonable.
How do we find those? Where?
Ubuza ukuthi thina sizinda zolwazi zikhona ngoba yazi besides the fact that ama dealerships are expensive, ubaleka kuwo ufuna alternative. Truly speaking, yonke into expensive.
Absolutely, yeah.
Xa ungayapho sisebenzela khona ngokuthi uzabona igcwele i-center yethu ngabantu that cannot afford. So there are alternatives. There's a service plan and maintenance and extended warranty companies.
Okay, so you just need to ask the right questions.
As Chaya was saying.
Very quickly, Chaya, before I go to the ad break, yes.
Buy a car you can afford to upkeep. Guys, you
That's
get
very
yourself
important.
in positions where you can't afford the upkeep of the car. That's a problem. People must be aware when they buy in the car. What is the after sales of what is that? Because it's a huge aspect.
Yeah,
so we'll chat about
Chaya, from what I've seen, you know, these second-hand car dealerships, they'll make you a second-hand car like that is 20 years old, look very shiny, and you put it in the lot there in the showroom. You get there, you just want to buy it because it's 50,000 rand.
You know how many times it was
cash
involved in accidents.
Yeah, but Sisa, let's hold that thought. Mbukeli, now if I ngeke uzama ukhatha amakhona because wena uthi uyasave or ubhekela iphakethe lakho, but uyazi ukuthi kuthiwa ngathi it's going to cost you in the long run. And what we're getting also from our guests is thenga imoto ozokwazi ukuyi-maintaina nokuyi-upkeep. And let's take another quick ad break. We're back shortly after this. Ngayindawo. Welcome back. You're watching Yilungelo Lakho I HIGH SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Sikhona futhi na ku SABC Plus 011 714 0671 rather and 714 0672. So ungasithola lapho mbukeli, alternatively usendele email ku consumer@sabc.co.za. Buthami insizwa yasemzimkhulu, siyabonga insizwa ukuthi usijoyine namhlanje. Singakunceda kanjani?
Hello.
Kunjani baba?
Sikhona manje njani?
Ngiyaphila insizwa yami, singakusiza kanjani namhlanje?
Ngiphila kahle kakhulu.
Okay baba.
Ngifuna ukuyazi nje ukuthi ngizokwazi kanjani ukuthi le nkampani irejistiwe la irejistwanga ngizokwazi kanjani?
Okay, ufuna ukuyolungisa imoto wena lapho elokishini uyabona bamisile imoto usufuna ukwazi ukuthi ubhekani nakuphi futhi ubabuzani ukuthi wazi phela ukuthi barejistiwe babuthami.
Yeah.
All right, siyabonga kakhulu insizwa yami. Who wants to take that one? Chaya, Sisa? Yes, Sisa, go ahead.
Uzawufuneka xa ifika kaloku e-workshop uzawubuza i-owner or exesheni eninzi ufumana e-reception.
Yes.
Ufika khona osisa bakhwepha uzawubuza yena. Angacela nokucela ukubana bambonise amaphepha i-proof of ba-registile na indawo ke isasenyapha eSouth Africa endiyazi register companies ibhalwe CIPC.
CIPC, yes.
Yes, kufuneka if unayo nelungelo lokubuza ukuthi ba-insured na i-insurance yabo ba-insured nephi company.
Okay.
Bangamnika ne-policy number angakwazi nokuthi afonele khona qiniseke kuba usesengaba nayo i-policy number kanti seyaphelelwa kudala lento bayibiza ukuthi yalapsa ayisasebenzi.
Oh, okay.
So angakwazi ukukhangela ngaloo ndlela ukuba ngabe inkampani irejistiwe na ukwenzela ukuba naye alalo buthongo behlayo.
All right. And then, so, Chaya, I mean, let's talk about this. Before we went to the ad break, we were talking about some of the things that, you know, us as motorists need to be cognizant of when we are in possession of these cars. What do you think is some of the biggest things that a driver needs to know when, let's say your car is nearing the end of its service term or the products? What are some of the things and biggest things like your checklist that you need to go through, and where can you go to verify these things well ahead of time so that you're not surprised with exorbitant fees that are going to cost you about 150,000 to renew it for another 60,000 kilometers?
Yeah, that's premium brands, yeah. So when you go for your services at the agents, they do, and they should tell you how long you have left of your service. You know, this is your last service. You're out of your service next year or at this
Chaya, I've seen people that go to service their cars, they literally just drop their car off and they sit there not asking any questions, not interact with anyone. I literally go there and say, what is this?
Good, that's how it should be.
Exactly.
But your father taught you right, and I love that you listen to him. Good for you.
That is good.
Yeah. You know, they can tell you anything, and you'll get
So
blindsided.
it's the proactiveness of the consumer
so.
that needs to take the initiative and actually go and ask.
Remember, it's one of the biggest purchases you'll make is a car after your house.
After the house, yeah.
So you have to take it seriously. You know, you have to.
Sometimes before the house.
Sometimes, exactly. Well, it's true. It is true. And also, you know, when you finance a car, you know, you pay in the service plan and maintenance plan, like a BMW, is worked in to the price of the car you've paid.
Yes, that's true.
So you don't really understand, well, what does it mean when my motor plan expires? How much is it going to cost me? I can tell you now on the premium brands, it's going to cost you to keep going to the agents. It's even going to cost you more, it's more expensive, the premium brands, to service than it is the smaller, cheaper cars.
Yes.
So you have to make a decision that suits you. It really depends on the person. I have to say to them, you know, you want to buy a second-hand premium brand. Can you afford the upkeep of that car? Even if you go to an independent mechanic and you don't use the agents, can you afford the upkeep of the car? Now, it's all very well driving a fancy car and all of that, but if you can't maintain it, then why are you doing it? You know, accidents, I mean, there's thousands of accidents in this country. You want to be safe in the car, you want to look after it, you use it a lot, you travel with your children, your family. Make an informed, right decision.
And that's a very valid point, Chaya, because I think one of the stories also that I heard was that somebody, like I was saying before we went to the ad break, that you see a big shiny car, it's a premium brand, but it's been off motor plan for the past 120,000 kilometers. But they're not going to tell you that at this dealership, and then you're going to buy the car food stores, and they're going to tell you that's how it is. Don't come back. There's not even a warranty. You can't even bring it back to us. Now, this lady apparently had to take it to the premium dealership because it had to go there. It's a premium brand. And she literally was like, but this is the amount, this is more than the amount of that I paid for the car. So Sisa, in that instance, abantu, how to advise them, particularly laba bathanda uthenga imoto ezama second hand, ezibizayo, ezama brand njengoba esho Chaya.
Yeah.
Asiyekeni uthanda izinto.
Inzima, but ke ndifumanise nje I'm sure kule veki siphuma kuyo bangaba sekhona isoftware esisalisha lapho ukwazi ukuthi uyisebenzise kwi-VIN number. I-VIN number can tell i-history yemoto.
Yes.
Yeah, so kufanele bajonge kwi-dealerships ezinjalo.
Okay.
Izaba nzima xa uthenga from kusisa ungu-Alicia or ungu-Chaya. So but if uya kwi-dealer, even if it's a used car dealership, ngoba nakhona siya kwi-used car dealerships ngenxa yoba sisisho izipokethi zethu zimfushane, asifikeleli ngenxa yesimo somnotho nezoqoqosho.
Kodwa siyafuna ukudrive ngoba
ngoba kaloku ingxaki inye kuyanetha ngoku, i-queue inde eBree.
That's
Funeka
true.
uleqe emsebenzini or uchayisa late emsebenzini. I-public transport yethu akekabikho kwizinga lokuba ngabana sikwazi ucommute nakanjani.
That's true.
So kubalekile ke kuba ngcono mhlambe xa ethenga that used car nge-finance. Ngoba these financing companies, they check that, they make sure ukuthi imoto iyahamba iya kwi-roadworthy test. Iyacheka, but xa uzayithenga mhlambe nge-saving yakho ebikhoyo kulapho it's good ngoba awuzuba na installment, but at the same time kumele wenze sure ukuba ufumana indlela yokuyijonga uqinisekisise ngoba omnye umngane wami uyazithenga ezimoto azilungise azithengise esebenza naye. Uthe xa ithengise enye kwafika abantu bafike by scanner lapha kwi-VIN number kwafumanisa uba le moto lena it has been involved in accident 3 times.
Wow.
And the insurance has paid, I think kwenye incident ibhatele more than 300,000.
What?
You see,
so
now,
it could have been a written off vehicle that is actually back on the stand.
So izinto ezibalulekileyo
Okay.
sifanele sizijonge kakhulu.
Yozi hectic lezinto man Sisa. Let's go to our lines again. Bongani siyakwamukela Nsizwa ohleleni sicela usitshele ukuthi usifonela kuphi bese usibuza umbuzo noma ubeka umbono Nsizwa. Bongani?
Hello,
Kunjani baba?
I'm good and you, ma'am.
I'm good, thank you Putwam. Thank you so much for joining us and staying on the line. Singakusiza kanjani baba namhlanje usifonela ukuphi nendawo kuqala?
Yes, hello everyone. So my question is that I'm one of the guys owning a workshop that is in the township. So what I'm asking is that APMA, what are the requirements to join maybe the association of APMA so that you can also be accredited?
Okay.
And then so you can be able to do maybe the government cars and stuff like that.
Awesome stuff. Bongani, please don't drop the line. I want you to interact directly no Sisa, so that if he has any follow-up questions, Sisa, ngicela ukhulume no Bongani la. He's setting a great example. He owns a workshop in the township. He wants to formalize it. He wants to be registered. Uthi lokhu kwenza kanjani? Khuluma naye nango line.
But Bongani siyabulela ndiyavuya ndizuza ilungu elitsha kwilungelo lami. Ngicela ukuba sikuphe ama numbers wami Bongani. Kunama forms ekumele sithumelele wona, kufuneke sazi ba uphi, sazi ba zezi i-workshop yakho injani. Sithethe nge-standard apha, asifuni ukususa abantu kuma-dealerships sibase phansi kwesihlahla njengoba sitsho uMatshali. Sifuna ukuthi si-maintain i-standard, size sibe ngcono sezidolophini, ama-tools wakho, i-equipment yakho ikwi-standard before singathetha ukuthi siyak-accredita. Ndicinga uzafuneka ufumane inumber zami, andazi noba ndivumelekile ngasisa inumber zami ngu-079 384 2203 079 384 2203.
Uyazithola lezo number Bongani?
Yes, I'm still on the line, but I didn't get the number, so maybe just before we leave the show, you can just read the number for us, because I'm watching on the TV because the
no
line
problem.
is not so good. I hear some of the stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay, Bongani, thank you so much. No, ngicela ulalele lapho kumabonakude wakho Butwami. Those numbers, we're going to put them on the line there. Mbukeli uthi Sisa uma wena njengo Bongani ufuna ukuba ilunga, you want to be accredited, you want to be registered. Iya lapha ku 079 384 2203. Sizoyifaka le number la. I'm going to ask my producers to put it on the strap alongside lezi zinye number. Mbukeli, let's take another ad break. Apparently, I'm coming back shortly after this. It's our final segment. I don't know where the time went to. Chaya's been having too much fun on the show alongside Sisa. They have been helping us decipher those decisions. Zokuthi, what are the best options when it comes to you guiding iphakethe lakho zokuthi phela uhambe ulungise imoto yakho. Bathi ke it's safer to go uyofixa lawo ma-brake nokuthi uhambe nemoto enama-brake aphelile ngoba wena usaba ukuthi phela uyisa imoto ku-reputable dealer. Bayasho ukuthi there is many alternatives. Nalabo abanama-workshop bayanxuswa futhi ukuthi bacela ukuthi barejiste njengobhuti Bongane okade sifoneleke samnikeza leya number ekuthiwe 079 384 2203. That is the number mbukeli ongayifonela ke uma wena ufuna amaphepha ukuthi uregister so that uzokwazi ukuthi ube protected as well as your customers. All right, so Chaya, let's talk about this. Is it advisable then to use the backyard car repair and maintenance industry? I think let me first ask from you, and then Sisa will obviously chip in there because these are the people that he deals with under the trees.
So once again, you want to go to somewhere, a reputable place that you can, also you want to go somewhere where if something does go wrong, you can go back there, because I can assure you that when it comes to cars, a lot can go wrong. And you want to, if you cut corners, they might burn you later. I also think it's very important. We spoke about how when you buy a car, you want to know, buy a car. It also works if I want to sell my car. If I don't service my car, I can promise you now it's going to lose its value. So it works both ways. What's good for the end user must, you have to think like that. If I look after my car, I'm going to get more when I sell it. If I service my car regularly, I'm going to get a higher price for that. If I don't, it's going to be no service history. And if I go to someone that's not going to, does that count? Are they going to stamp your book? Can I go back then if I'm buying the car? What was done to your car?
Exactly.
Do you know what was done to your car?
You have
no idea. You have no idea. Oh, I serviced my car. Oh, did you? Oh, did you service your car? So when I want to buy it, I need to ask those questions.
Okay.
And a lot of people, no, I think I serviced it. I think, and sadly, it affects the price of your car.
Absolutely.
It definitely. So as much as I want to, the public must look at, does the car have a full service history when they buy a car? They must also think about when they're going to sell their car.
Okay.
It works both ways.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Sisa, I mean, maybe in closing, I mean, imoto eningi muyithenga kuba ne-instruction yokuthi tata inkinga yakho, even if it's just about changing a bulb or whatever, or battery, to an authorized technician. Bakunikeza lo instruction. Are you then able to kulama options obusinike wona ukuthi kulabantu kunama workshops nama after parts amalokuza nama after parts dealers which do have proper ama parts that you can still buy? What do you then advise umuntu ukuthi enze lapho? Does this person have to go directly to the technician or wenza njani?
Angenzelekanga, but I will say to authorize technician kuthethwa ngama dealerships.
Okay.
No, they can go independent aftermarket.
Oh,
shops.
okay.
And ngoba enye into funeke sibe realistic. Ngoba kunendawo ezikude njengasengcobo phone beyakhona.
Yes.
There is no workshop that you say registered or accredited. And umuntu abenengxaki yokutshintsha ama brake pads ngokuna ufumanisa ba i-workshop ekufutshana ngayifumana eMthatha, which is about
imagine by the time I get there the brakes would have been finished.
So into esingayikhuthaza ukuthi abantu bazame nabo ababa kule industry bakhangela indawo ezinjalo.
Okay.
Bavule indawo njengoba nasengcobo nathi sibhizi sakhe automotive hub yokuqala ezilalini kwindawo yokumanzana. So ezinye izinto abantu abazenzi ngoba befuna abazenza because bephoqwa isimo. Cinga xa uzawusuka uye East London your service imoto.
Okay.
Your service imoto nge-1,000 rand ufake ipetrol yamali.
Yo.
Yeah, and xa ubuya ngapha uxela into ngabo zaluza iwarranty. But enye into ebekade ndingayifumani ngisanda kuyifumana nje kule veki phelileyo ebendihlala ndiyikhalela eSouth Africa basingena consumer body.
Yes.
Which is an organization.
Yes.
I'm happy with a gentleman called Lindani Mjali eKatlehong. They've got a consumer awareness body.
Okay.
Which is goba ezinye izinto ziya inflatwa zenziwa ngabom. They're not supposed to be expensive. Kubulawa nje ama consumer.
Kudlalwa ngathi ngoba kuthiwa sinemali sizokhipha uthe uzoyidrive le moto.
Uyapanishwa ngoba wena uthenga imoto.
Because you bought that car. Look, unfortunately I'm out of time, but Sisa thank you so much for your contributions this afternoon. Sisa Mbangxa, he is the president of the African Panel Beaters and Motor Mechanics Association, along the gorgeous Miss Chaya Finger, the CEO at Car Shake or Car Check, where everything happens, rentals and everything happens there, lady. Thank you so much. I'm sure we are going to... Oh, yes. Sisa, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. My guests today are out of hand. We're going to leave it there. We are out of time, unfortunately. Do join us next week for another live consumer affairs discussion of the week from myself and the team. Hey, hambani yo taxi sala bo mechanic ukuthi ba register. Majali uthi umthanda bonke emakhaya. Bye bye.
Aumela